It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. A special edition of Real Talk comes to you live here, courtesy of Jersey First TV. And I am New Jersey's premier award winning journalist, Top 50 Latino, as voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine, along with the United States Latino Affairs Initiative. And certainly, ladies and gentlemen, I'll continue to be the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media because my level of honesty is truly necessary in this era of deception. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Hope you had a wonderful President's Day weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I sure did. Enjoyed a wonderful weekend with my significant other in Miami. A little warm weather, a little warm company. Folks, it's a good weekend for sure. And hopefully you got to stay safe, even with a little bit of snow on the ground. And of course, hopefully you're staying safe out there wherever you go in 2024. And I want to thank you all for joining us here on this, the 20th of February, here once again in 2024. And of course, from tuning in from wherever and however you may be doing so via Facebook Live on StreamYard, also on the Jersey First YouTube page, as well as on Twitch, LinkedIn, and of course, all of our other social media platforms. Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, always, again, we appreciate your support. Sharing is caring. Make sure you like Real Talk with Fernando Uribe and Jersey First on Facebook. Of course, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And for all of you YouTube subscribers, again, we're always on YouTube watching something, right? Well, guess what? Click the subscribe button and you'll be automatically notified of all the outstanding content brought to you by Jersey First TV. Of course, also wherever you get your podcasts, whether on Spotify or SoundCloud, download it and take it with you anywhere at any time. And I cannot say enough, ladies and gentlemen, how proud I am to be on the dream team of Garden State Media. That's right, folks. It's Jersey First TV, always educating and advocating for the people of New Jersey. Of course, brand new episodes of The Nader Narrative, hosted by the incredible Elizabeth Nader, premiere every Thursday, and also brand new episodes of Bridging the Gap, hosted by the outstanding AJ Malillo and Stephen Rumbollo, also premiere on Thursdays. And every Monday night, folks, again, excluding holidays here and there, you always check out brand new episodes, live and in living color, of Real Talk via Jersey First TV. Folks, you definitely want to stick around for the end of the show for final thoughts, because I'm going to have a lot to say about David Cruz and NJ Spotlight News and the disservice that Uncle Dave continues to do to you, New Jersey residents, each and every week. But we'll go after Uncle Dave a little bit later. But folks, I always like to talk to journalists every now and then on this program about what's going on nationally, statewide, but more importantly, folks, all politics is local. And you know what? What better guy to talk about it, obviously, at the local scene than my guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He is the distinguished editor and publisher of the Jersey City Times. You can check out the website at jcitytimes.com. My good friend and a big fan of the show, Aaron Morrill, joins us on Real Talk. Aaron, how are you?
I'm great, Fernando. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. I know you're always on the go. You're very busy, but Aaron, let's get to it here. Certainly, I know, great site as always. I like to always get my notifications on my email about the Jersey City Times. But an interesting column that just, I think, came out today, documenting apparently the state going after landlords, discriminating against those with criminal records. Apparently, 5 Jersey City property owners specifically have been accused of violating a state law forbidding landlords from denying apartments to applicants with prior criminal records. Give us a little bit more here, man, about why this story is so significant.
Well, this is a story that Ron Lair wrote up for us and did a great job. It's an interesting issue because, of course, people hear that a person who has been convicted of a crime might be moving in next to them, and understandably that concerns people. And in some cases, landlords take it one step further and just say, we're not going to rent to certain people if they have these criminal records. It's important to know about this that they don't just force landlords to rent to anybody. There are a list of convictions that legitimately a landlord can say no to, but there are convictions that do not they do not rise to the level of a landlord being able to exclude that person from living in the apartment they're renting. And so the Attorney General apparently went after 5 different property owners in Jersey City and issued citations to them. because they had excluded people that legally are entitled to rent. Now, of course, that doesn't include people on the sex offender registry. That's a different story. People hear this and they think, oh my God, the big government is forcing landlords to rent to dangerous people. But there's a list of crimes actually in the article. You can read about it that are not covered by this protection. So it's not forcing landlords to rent to people that might be violent, that are legitimately concerning from a safety standpoint. It appears to be a statute that's calibrated, but you can go and click on that and drill down. And I would say if you're a landlord and you are you know, concerned about this, you should click through to the site that our article links to, and do a little research, because you can get yourself into trouble. Of course, people that have been arrested and have no criminal record, you can't discriminate against. You can't ask them about if they've been arrested, because that's obviously not a conviction. But when I looked at it, it seemed like a fairly reasonable, measured statute. It's not forcing landlords to rent to child molesters and the like. So people need to read the article rather than respond to the headline, because I did see one person outraged online because they hadn't read the article and they figured landlords were being forced to rent to dangerous people, and that appears not to be the case.
Aaron, it's interesting. I mean, this is a clear example where it's not clickbait. Like, you're legitimately trying to raise awareness about an issue that is multi-layered. And, as someone like myself, like before entering academia, I worked in the criminal justice system. So I worked in corrections, I worked in probation, I worked for the public defenders. So I know firsthand when it comes to low-level offenders, how difficult it can be. Again, if you're trying to escape recidivism, you're trying to escape the criminal justice system, what better way than to have stability, right? A job,
Right.
somewhere to live.
Right. I mean,
if you're a low-level offender,
right.
The struggle to even find somewhere to live can be overwhelming for people. Again, listen, I supervise Megan's Law cases. So
yeah,
when it comes to
you understand this. Even though you have a Joe Biden sucks hat behind you on the set, sure. You're a conservative who understands that these are people that often messed up early in their lives and should not be judged by the worst thing they've ever done. And especially if you're talking about nonviolent offenses, the types, you're talking about drug cases. We have a council person that I would rent to in a heartbeat, Frank Gilmore, who, as a young man, got himself into trouble with the law, dealing drugs, and he's a stand-up, exemplary citizen. And there are a lot of people like him that need second chances, that are not violent, and landlords should not exclude. So that's important. And this happens a lot with our articles, actually. People just read the headline and they don't read the article. And you see them on social media, and you have to sometimes, hold back from being a little snarky to them, like, hey, buddy, read the article. You're not getting it. There's more to it than the headline.
Absolutely. Listen, Aaron, you hit it right on the head. And I'm with you, man. Again, as someone who's worked in the CJ system, I know firsthand about interacting with low-level offenders, first-time offenders. And again, if you're just trying to get your life back in track, get a job, pay off restitution, other fines. I mean, you need stability. Stability means a place to live, a place to work. And I get it. Listen, as someone that oversaw Megan's Law cases for years, I know about severe offenders. But when it comes to low-level offenders, I mean, these are the people that, again, as we continue to become more densely populated and housing is almost becoming a scarcity, bro. Again, I get hammered for not being compassionate enough. This is an area where I'm going to be compassionate, because I've seen it firsthand, where if we start marginalizing these people, again, low-level offenders, all we're doing, Aaron, is, again, sort of inviting recidivism by not allowing them to sort of regain some sense of normalcy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So kudos to that one for sure. Another article that really came to mind for me, obviously, as I was reading your site, And folks, again, if you're just joining us, it's 6:11 here on the East Coast. Joining me live is the distinguished editor and publisher of the Jersey City Times. Check out their website at jcitytimes.com. He's Aaron Morrill. Join us here on Real Talk. And something that really caught my eye here, obviously, with the news that was published yesterday on Politico, New Jersey, and NJ.com about property taxes going up. Well, apparently there's a bill that could raise school taxes that's moving pretty fast in the legislature. And again, Aaron, listen, you know me, I'm the fiscal conservative here. I'm always hammering Trenton for, they've never met a tax that they don't like. And it seems like it's always about tax, and spend. And, again, in a time, dude, where New Jerseyans, especially in Hudson County and Jersey City, are still struggling with inflation, food prices, gas prices, everything possible. The idea about raising any sort of tax right now, again, school taxes in a city like Jersey City, where, again, we're not talking about like other parts of New Jersey where we have brand new schools. We have a lot of older buildings, a lot of overcrowding, a lot of resources that kids are still not getting. It's mind-boggling to me how this just seems to be the norm in Trenton. And I give you a lot of credit for covering this. So again, just unpackage just a little bit about why this is also very significant.
Well, let me first give credit to New Jersey Monitor, because they actually provided us with the story, which I republished. So I can't claim credit for this story, but it's something I do know a little bit about. And that is that our school system underwent a huge change a few years ago in the form of a law called S2, which basically rejiggered the school aid formula and forced Jersey City to bear a much bigger burden and a much bigger share of its school costs, of its school budget. And that was because Jersey City had become a very wealthy, relative to where it was before, city. Jersey City was being treated like a like it was a city in decline when it was a city that had reaped newfound wealth. It's the value of Jersey City properties doubled between 2010 and 2020. And so Trenton got angry because Jersey City wasn't paying its fair share. They changed the law to say, Jersey City, you've now got all this wealth, especially downtown. You now have to pay because we can't keep supporting you with school aid. So they changed the school aid formula. But even with that, there are schools, and in Jersey City specifically, that are not funding their schools at what is called an adequacy level. That is a state standard, and I believe it's also been defined by the courts. But basically, it says that you've got to provide an adequate level of education to your kids, and it tells you what that amount is. There's a formula for that. Right now, the school board cannot raise taxes more than 2%. The problem with that, for some people, it's not a problem. That's a happy result. But for the problem with that from the school board's perspective is that they can't raise their taxes enough to get to this adequacy level quickly enough. And Trenton is basically saying, we want the schools to be able to fund their schools at an adequate level. In order for a place like Jersey City to be able to do that, they got to raise their taxes more than 2% a year to get to that adequacy level. And this is a complex area, school funding. But that's basically what it is. It's trying to get Jersey City and other municipalities up to this, what is called an adequacy level. Big picture, Jersey City taxes are still lower than many of the more well-to-do suburbs and towns like Ridgewood and and Summit, places like that. Still lower than that, but they've gotten pretty high, and New Jersey taxes are very high. They've certainly gone up a lot in the last few years after the revale and after these increases in taxes. There is an argument to be made, and I think that's sympathetic to what you were saying, which is that the school board, schools are not spending their money properly or efficiently, and I think people need to pay attention to that. Um, but Jersey City is not being singled out, and our taxes are not as high as some of the wealthier municipalities in New Jersey. What people say in response to that is, look, but the schools are great in Summit. The schools are great in Ridgewood. We don't have great schools in Jersey City. And if we're paying those kinds of taxes, we should be getting great schools. The flip side of that is you're choosing to live in a very diverse neighborhood, city, and you're living right next to Manhattan. So you're getting the advantages of living in this diverse place with right next to Manhattan. So that's what some people would say in response to that. But it's a complex issue. It's not just a matter of Trenton raising taxes and being profligate, although I'm sure a great argument can be made for the schools, Trenton being profligate, and there's nobody that's written more about Jersey City specifically being profligate than I have, especially when it comes to things like Pompidou and hiring workers, laborers at City Hall at $150,000 a year. Those are the kinds of things I've written about. But so that's sort of my long answer to that question.
Well, Aaron, speaking about writing about financial mismanagement, I think with the great way to segue into our next topic here. And one of the editorials the Jersey Times published recently really caught my eye. And I'll sort of just read the title here. Jersey City's sketchy financial mismanagement. In less than a year, the administration added an additional $88 million. Wow, that just blows my mind. In debt to Jersey City's balance sheet. Folks, interesting column. Obviously, you can check out at jcitytimes.com. Aaron, I'm not going to steal your thunder here on this. I'm going to let you sort of break this down. But, I mean, when you see this sort of these dollar amounts, it kind of makes you wonder, man, about what happens in municipal government. And when people show up to council meetings, whether it be in a city like Jersey City or next door in Hoboken or a town like Weehawken, those council meetings are, to your point, Ridgewood, Paramus, wherever, Parsippany. I just had a councilman from Parsippany last week on, and a recent council meeting had like over 800 people at it. That's crazy. You look at these numbers, and what should Jersey City residents be most alarmed about in what you're raising concern in, as it pertains to this comment?
Well, I think that article or that editorial really spoke to the lack of financial oversight in Jersey City. The fact that they could, in the middle of the year, say, "Oh, whoops, we made a mistake. We need another, $80 million for various and sundry budget items that we should have budgeted for." The biggest item, as I recall, in this editorial was tax appeals. A lot of people say their taxes are too high. Property values had gone down in some cases, and I think there were a lot of commercial properties, especially you're talking about like office space. Some of these spaces are now worth less than they were a few years ago. So they file appeals, and all of a sudden, they're entitled to a tax cut on their property, and Jersey City has to refund them a lot of money. So it wasn't Jersey City's fault that these properties went down in value or were overtaxed. The problem was that they didn't anticipate it, and they should have seen this coming, and it was seen by other people before they sprung it on the city council and said, "Hey, we've got this huge hole in our budget." And then, of course, there was the problem of public safety, where there was millions of dollars of overtime that Public Safety Director James Shea sprung on the City Council. Apparently, every year, public safety spends too much, and nobody sort of holds their feet to the fire. They just are able to do this, and the City Council has to find money to plug these gaps. the oversight problem is a big problem in Jersey City, the financial oversight. Listen, in 2021, there was a $93 million budget deficit. There's an audit from 2021 that is scathing in the way that Jersey City handled its finances that year. I made the argument that this was done to keep taxes artificially low in 2021 when the mayor was running for a third term. And rather than tell the people, the residents, the truth, he kicked the can down the road and pretended that he could give people actually a tax cut in a year that he had no ability to give people a tax cut, but by basically cooking the books. And I'm not going to, I don't know who did it exactly and how, and who was behind it, but basically they completely underestimated the expenses that they were going to have in 2021 in a way that professionals that I've spoken to say is just outrageous and had to be deliberate. And they ended up with a massive budget deficit, having to float $55 million in special bonds. It was a disaster. And now Jersey City taxpayers are paying for this financial mismanagement that's been going on for now 4 years, close to 4 years. Some of it was political, some of it was incompetence. It's a combination of both. That's the position that we took. And that's the position of the professionals that I spoke with. People who have worked in municipal government really know their stuff. They looked at this and they said, this kind of $92 or $3 million deficit, that doesn't happen unless it's intentional. Municipal government is supposed to know how much money is coming in, more or less. They really should know that, and they should know how much they're going to spend, and it's got to be a balanced budget. And it wasn't. It wasn't at all. They broke the law. Nothing's been done about it, it seems, on the state level, but it appears they broke the law. And the depressing thing is that, if you're thinking in terms of a good government, perspective, people aren't coming out to City Hall to scream about this stuff. They come out for other issues. They come out for Palestine and Israel, and they come out for, different issues. Maybe their rent's gone up, and you get a crowd of people like that. But people really need to be concerned about this financial management issue.
Aaron, let me ask you this. And folks, if you just joined us right now, it's 6:23 here on the East Coast here with the editor and publisher of the Jersey City Times, the great Aaron Morrill, joining us here on Real Talk via Jersey First TV. Click that share button, folks. Sharing is caring. Aaron, it sort of begs the bigger question here. Obviously, is this yet another piece of baggage that the mayor is going to have to answer for during this primary? Because again, he has a new entrant in the race. We'll pick your brain about that in a moment. But is this something that could haunt the mayor down the road as he's trying to win the primary for the Democrat Party for governor in 2025?
I think financial management is going to be a problem for the mayor. I think public safety is going to be a problem for the mayor when he is challenged on these issues by his opponents. I can't imagine that these things won't come up. We've certainly made them, the subject of repeated editorials, and I think it's going to be, it's absolutely going to be in play. I do know that people are reading the Jersey City Times statewide, people that are interested in, the mayor and his run for governor. And, I've been told that they're seeing what's going on here. So I think it will be an issue for them, Now, let me just leaven this by saying the mayor is not all bad. He's done some good things in Jersey City. I personally think, he's done some things with sustainability, bike lanes, He's been a great booster for the city. He's done some good things. So he doesn't have nothing to run on. But I think public safety and taxes are two of the biggest issues for voters anywhere. It doesn't matter what state you're in, what town you're in New Jersey. Those are huge issues, much bigger than bike lanes. So I think he's going to have to run on that record, and I'd be surprised if people don't bring it up.
Aaron, Stephen Fulop was the first declared Democrat to run for the 2025 primary for the Democrat Party. Obviously, he was followed by former State Senate President Steve Sweeney. And yesterday, David Wildstein from the New Jersey Globe reported that Newark Mayor Ras Baraka has now entered the arena, as they say, into this race for the Democrat nomination for 2025. I was talking off the record with a few journalists today. And they say, hey, Fernando, what do you think about Baraka, and what do you think? Does it hurt Steve? Does it hurt Sweeney? What do you think? And I just said, well, I'll be very honest. I don't think it helps Stephen Fulop, but I don't think it hurts him. I think Newark has its own problems. I mean, you want to talk about like public safety issues? I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, Newark is, a dump. I mean, listen, I'm a big Devils fan. I go to the Prudential Center regularly. I love that part of downtown, but you couldn't give away a building to me in Newark to live in. And there's a lot of overdevelopment going on, just like everywhere else in New Jersey. I mean, I think Newark has its own set of problems. It seems like, letting teenagers vote in Board of Ed races seems to be a priority there instead of hiring more cops. But I mean, what do I know? But the point is that I think it's not something that hurts Stephen Fulop all too much. I don't think Steve Sweeney hurts him all too much. I mean, again, it's a three-man race. We'll find out later in the year if other members of the House of Representatives, should they win re-election, jump into the race later on this year. A lot of months to go. But Stephen Fulop seems to be, sitting well on a good war chest of fundraising. And I think he's, he got out front before everybody else. Do you think that gives him an advantage? Or as you mentioned before, again, whether it's public safety, whether it's financial management or mismanagement, City Hall, what do you think really is his biggest Achilles heel at this moment against these two declared opponents?
Well, again, I think it is public safety and financial management, and a perception that among people who know how City Hall in Jersey City works, that it's very transactional, that developer money speaks, that everything goes through the mayor, and you've got there's a VIG involved. If you look at the donors to his super PAC, it's the usual suspects. It's the major developers and people that contract with Jersey City, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that public safety, I think finances, and I also think just generalized the feeling that it's there's sort of a sleaziness and money speaks ethos in Jersey City, which is probably going to be troubling. I don't know a great deal about Ras Baraka. I will say, I'll push back on your characterization a little bit. If you look at crime data coming out of Newark, and I have, they've made unbelievable strides in bringing down the crime rate. I mean, it's come way down. They've got Rutgers in there, working with their public safety people, really crunching the numbers. They're doing a lot of outreach to gangs, and I don't have the exact numbers at my fingertips, but I've looked at the graphs. I've done graphs, and in 2019, I looked at the numbers in Jersey City and Newark actually had fewer, this is an unbelievable statistic, had fewer actual criminal incidents than Jersey City in 2019. This was the article, I put that in an article, this was the article that got me blacklisted from City Hall, and the reason why we are now suing the city of Jersey City and the mayor and his press secretary in federal court, because after I wrote an article critical of the mayor's lack of success on public safety, we were banned, and I have Yale Law School, their legal clinic, supporting us in our First Amendment case.
Okay. I mean, Aaron,
Um,
listen, Aaron. I'll say this: I have the mayor on in April. I'll certainly do my best to ask him about these issues, and we'll see how he answers. That's the best I can do on my end for sure when it comes to sort of addressing these issues that, again, are sort of hovering over City Hall. And I think
Well,
ultimately,
let me point out another issue,
sure.
and David Cruz, who I understand you're going to be talking about, will probably has talked about this a lot. He's taken this up. I've been probably the loudest on this. Is transparency on public safety. The mayor has refused to make crime data available. Like Newark does, like New York City does. He has CommStat data that he could put up every week, and we could see what crime there is and where it's occurring. And the mayor absolutely refuses to put it up and gives conflicting and contradictory excuses every time people ask him why. He says, well, I give it all to the state of New Jersey and they have it and you can see it there. Well, actually, I checked on that, and I went to the state of New Jersey and I did an article about this. The fact is that the city of Jersey City is 2 years behind on getting data to the state of New Jersey. So, sometimes on another occasion, he said, the crime data is going to the Jersey Journal, and I send it all to the Jersey Journal. Well, I know that's not the case because I follow the Jersey Journal, and I know they're not getting a lot of stories, and sometimes they get them after I get them, so they're not getting them, and they wouldn't comment on that when I asked them about that. But he's given so many conflicting, so transparency is also a big issue. And Ras Baraka, it appears, has been maybe a little bit better than the mayor has on transparency.
I mean, listen, it's something I'll certainly want to talk to him about later on in April when I have him on. Aaron, speaking of Mayor Fulop, the people looking to succeed the mayor next year, I got to tell you, man, this is getting exhausting. It's only February 2024. We got like 18 months to go until Jersey City residents like yourself are going to have to go to the ballot box to make a decision. And thus far, the declared candidates are former Governor Jim McGreevey, current County Commissioner Bill O'Day, and Council President Joyce Waterman. I'm sure that more names will jump into the arena, as they say. I get this theory in my mind that probably sometime later this year, after the League of Municipalities, maybe James Solomon will be like, well, I'll let these people tire themselves out, and I'll just jump into the fray. And again, I have sort of a theory that, if Solomon jumps into the race, I think he hurts a progressive like Bill O'Day because Solomon's pretty progressive himself. But even before that, I know that you haven't really covered this, too much. I mean, again, it's exhausting to be doing it this far in advance, but it just seems like both campaigns, and I've said this openly. I mean, I have Bill O'Day on in a few weeks on this show. I've had Governor McGreevey on. I'll have him on again. It just seems like both campaigns, I get it. You want to be out in front. Man, bro, it's exhausting, Aaron. I mean, you're seeing like ads, you're seeing, fundraisers, you're seeing town halls. I get it.
Yeah.
These are good things to do, but if it's February 2025, that's one thing. It's February 2024, and let's be honest, man, we're going to get exhausted this year because it's going to be Trump and Joe Biden again this November, and it's going to be tribal. It's going to be toxic. It's going to be draining. I can't imagine people are going to have any energy left in Jersey City in 2025 based on what we have to live through this year, man. I just want to get your thoughts.
I don't have any great thoughts on the mayoral race. I think my thoughts are probably pretty similar to everybody else's. I don't know Bill O'Day well. I've met him. I've listened to him speak. I think he hits the issues for a lot of people in Jersey City that matter, affordability being one of the main things. And I think that Jim McGreevey also hits the issues that people care about. I think McGreevey has probably a bigger burden in some ways because, of course, people are kind of cynical when they see a former governor who had to step down and under the circumstances he stepped down, and they're a little cynical, like, what, what is this guy doing? Why does he want this job? There, and then he's got the support of, a huge portion of, I guess, the Hudson County machine, and it seems like inside baseball, it seems like, machine politics. So people are a little cynical about it, and I get that, just looking at social media and how people respond to him. He's all, I said this last time we spoke. He's extremely polished. He's extremely smart. He's definitely big time politician, and sort of in Jersey City, in the Jersey City sense. He is by far the most, he's more at ease in front of a crowd and among people, and more professional in the way a backslapping politician is than anybody I've seen in Jersey City. He's really good, but people are extremely cynical about it, and I'm not quite, it seems like they're almost a little too hard on the guy, but and with O'Day, I think unless you're an inside, look, unless you're a local political junkie, you probably don't know who O'Day is. I mean, he's a county commissioner. Nobody pays attention to what they do, at least, no, seriously. I mean, people,
no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
if not that they don't have an important job, but if people pay attention to politics, they pay attention to what the council is doing. And so, I think unless you're a big, unless you have worked for the city or the county, or you're part of the, you're politically involved, you probably don't know anything about O'Day. But I hear good things about O'Day. I hear bad things. Everybody's got an opinion, but they're all basically political insiders. And it'll be interesting to see when people start paying attention, who people gravitate towards.
Yeah, it's a lot of months to go. Aaron, before I let you go, I see you're on the road there, man. What are you covering here for us?
Yeah, there's an event behind me. It is the People's Park Foundation at the 902 Brewery. And I was going to go in there and see what Bob Hurley and all those guys have to say about the park. I'm going to see if, hopefully I haven't missed the whole thing. They've done a couple of these things. Things are heating up right now when it comes to the park. There's a meeting on Saturday of the advisory board, that's going to sort of look at the park plan. And it's gotten a little nasty again. I'm not quite sure what Paul Fireman's long game is here. People have their theories. He seems to have given up on Caven Point, or that's what people say, and there must be something else that he wants, because he's funding, he's putting a lot of money behind it, but he's a rich guy, so it's probably not that much to him.
Well, Aaron, listen, I'll let you go, man. Go enjoy, do some investigating. You're really good at it. And again, I can't thank you enough, man, because I really enjoy our rapport. I really appreciate the work that you do. It's not easy. Again, I just opine on politics. You're publishing, you're investigating, you're going, you're there with a highlighter, you're there researching, you're there probably a lot of late nights going through PDF files. And it's exhausting. It's laborious. But again, the reason your site does so well is because it is detail oriented. So I can't speak highly enough of you. Anyone that I come across in Jersey City is like, oh, what do you think about Morrill? I'm like, I don't got a bad thing to say about this guy. He's doing good work. Stop giving him a hard time. Read his stuff. If you don't like it, you don't like it. People watch my show. Either you like it or you don't. Same thing with you. Right. I'm like, listen, he's doing good work, man. It's the press's job is to hold those in power accountable. You're doing that, Aaron. So, folks, check out jcitytimes.com for all the great content, courtesy of tonight's guest, the founder, editor, and publisher of the Jersey City Times, Aaron Morrill. Bro, keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you soon here on Real Talk.
Thanks, Fernando. Great to talk. Bye-bye.
Folks, great episode there with Aaron Morrill. Again, I can't say enough. I mean, this is a guy who, again, doing good work. And I get it that people give him a hard time about, what he's doing. And obviously, what he's trying to publish, what he's trying to raise awareness of. I get it, folks. Journalists sometimes are going to ruffle feathers. I ruffle feathers every day. Okay, it doesn't really bother me. But that's my job as a journalist. I know some people don't look at me as a journalist and they're entitled to their opinion, but what they're not entitled to is their own facts. And podcasting, opinion journalism is journalism, because what we're doing is we're covering what's going on, not just nationally, statewide, but locally. And And that's one of those things that, again, as a journalist, that's our job. That's our responsibility. Okay. That is why we do this. That's why we stay up late at night. That's why we go through countless hours of reading and research and talking to sources off the record, taking notes, trying to decipher exactly what's a story and what isn't. And say what you want, folks. Again, you may not like him, you may not like what he stands for, you may not like what he's writing, but there's no denying the hard work that Aaron Morrill and the staff at the Jersey City Times and the dedication and the work ethic that they exhibit. There's no denying it, folks. It's there. Again, you don't have to read them, just respect them. I don't think that's the end of the world in terms of what I'm asking for. So again, folks, check out jcitytimes.com. Great guest tonight with Aaron Morrill. It's founder, editor, and publisher, a guy who I think, folks, is going to have a lot to say about what's going on in Jersey City for the years to come. Folks, before we call it a night, you know what time it is. It's time for final thoughts. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you know, speaking of journalism, one of the things I take very seriously on this show is my ability to practice good journalism, to be transparent, to be informative, to be credible, to have credible guests on. I think that's essentially the blueprint, ladies and gentlemen, about what is good journalism and bad journalism. And listen, there's no shortage of examples of bad journalism in New Jersey. Take your pick. We got Tommy Boy, Tom Moran from the Star-Ledger, right? We got Chucky, you know, Charles Style with the Bergen Record and NorthJersey.com. Okay. We got the clowns at Insider NJ, and we got little JJ, Jay Lassiter. We got Maxie the Slacker, Max Pizarro. We got Sleepy Allen, who I think, it's 6:43. It's way past his bedtime. Bob Hennelly and the rest of the clowns at Insider NJ. Okay. We got little Terry there, Terrence McDonald with the New Jersey Monitor and some of his virtue signaling, which becomes absolutely insufferable. Certainly, you know, Matt Freeman in political, you know, New Jersey, when he's not sitting around smoking weed all day, let's be honest. Okay. And they all exhibit their different examples, right? Whether it's their opinions or what they stand for. But folks, when I think about lately, what's an example of bad journalism, folks, taking the cake, again, excuse the pun, okay? It's David Cruz. And folks, you all know what I think about Uncle Dave. I mean, Uncle Dave to me is a guy that comes across as extremely insufferable. Okay. He's one of these guys that, and listen, I'll give Dave credit where it's due. You've paid your dues in the business. Okay. You've cut your teeth. You've rolled your sleeves. You've done the work. Whether it's starting off as the editor of the Hudson Reporter here in Hudson County, whether it's working your way up again through NJPBS, right, which will become NJ Spotlight News, right, succeeding Michael Aaron as the host of the Reporters Roundtable. Folks, again, no easy task to succeed the GOAT of journalism when it comes to interviewing, hosting programs. Folks, it's Michael Aaron. Okay, I refer to David Wasserman as the GOAT of journalism right now when it comes to breaking stories, publishing, being expedient, being accurate, being, you know, correct, and not just rushing to be first, but to be factual. Okay, so I get it, you know, for David Cruz, those are big shoes to step into when it comes to Michael Aaron. Okay, and of course, hosting Chatbox. And I'll give Uncle Davis flowers. There are moments from time to time he'll do a good interview, but in many instances, he's doing really bad ones, especially on topics I think that matter to everyday New Jerseyans. Okay. And what bothers me, I think, okay, what bothers me, I think, about the latest segment by David Cruz, okay, is talking about immigration reform and talking about the fact that, again, senior United States Senator Bob Menendez has not yet announced what he's going to be doing in this election year. He has a trial that's pending in May for, again, it's only allegations of bribery and other federal crimes. Again, we'll see again, folks. You know, I'm a conservative. I'm all about due process. And just like I believe in due process for Donald Trump, the 45th president, I believe in due process for Bob Menendez. Okay, you can't pick and choose, folks, when you want the Bill of Rights to, to take effect. Okay, you can't pick and choose when you want people, make sure people have a right to counsel, a right to a trial by jury of your peers, the right to protect yourself against self-incrimination. Okay, the right, again, to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures, all those things that we believe in, right? But more importantly, about due process. Just like I believe in due process for Donald Trump, and we're seeing this witch hunt, right, by the Department of Justice and the FBI and these different prosecutors and district attorneys. We're seeing it, right? Would it really shock you if it's a witch hunt against Bob Menendez too? It wouldn't shock me. Not with this Justice Department and not with this FBI. But more on that later. Let's get back to Uncle Dave. And as you're doing a show and a segment, and let's be honest, folks, I mean, listen, NJ Spotlight News knows exactly what it's doing. Because let's be fair, I mean, it's a smart move. I mean, do I want to look at Brianna Vanozzi on my TV screen every night? Hell yes. Who doesn't want to look at this MILF every single night? I know many other straight men like myself do. Okay, it makes the evening more pleasant to be able to watch the news. And if you see a MILF like this on it, talking about everyday issues in New Jersey, hey, why not? And I get it. Thankfully, we're only subjected to David Cruz's voiceovers. All right. But the latest segment talks about, with the possible exit of Bob Menendez from the U.S. Senate, who's going to be an advocate for immigration reform? Now, that's a worthwhile topic. I'll give you that. But Dave, este problema. Okay, this is the problem. Again, I want to be careful because I know that if I speak Spanish too long for Dave, like his head will explode. He doesn't know how to speak Spanish other than the occasional "Hola, mi gente" and pronouncing names, with the Boricua accent, right? Like that's the extent of David Cruz's Spanish, right? But what really, really made me laugh, okay, is you can talk about immigration reform. You can talk about, hey, it's very possible that Bob Menendez will not be there in January of 2025 when a new Congress convenes, right? A new House of Representatives and a new United States Senate. Hopefully a new president. Hopefully, we can only, let's cross our fingers. Okay. And we don't know who's going to be in Bob Menendez's seat. Maybe it might be Bob himself. Who knows? He might run as independent. Who knows what's going to happen? But the way it's looking logistically right now, it seems like Bob Menendez is more focused, and rightfully so, on his trial coming up in May than running for re-election. And that's his prerogative. Okay? So, of course, it begs to question, well, if Bob Menendez is no longer going to be in Washington, in the United States Senate, advocating for immigration reform, who's going to be doing that for the Hispanic community in New Jersey? Okay? That's a viable question, Dave, and I'll give you, oye, aplauso para ti, because you know what? Kudos. Dave, the problem is, if you want to have serious conversations, you need serious people. And you're not giving us that. In this segment, folks, I almost like spit up my tea. Folks, Nadia Dorsey from Make the Road New Jersey. I'm not trying to go for the low-hanging fruit here, but Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't know who's worse. Is it Matt Friedman, who's never combed his hair for television or ever groomed his beard? I mean, mijita, like, por favor, you're going to be on TV. Oye, peínate, póngate algo. I mean, Dios mío, bro, come on. I mean, I don't have that problem. I'm always looking, nice and pretty on television, so I don't have that problem. But Jesus Christ, if you're going to be going on television talking about serious issues, look serious, Nadia. I mean, you look like you just woke up, for God's sake. I mean, I don't know who's worse, you or Matt Freeman when he wakes up at, quarter noon every day. But never mind this. It's exactly clowns like Nadia Dorsey and Make the Road New Jersey that can't be taken seriously. These are people that advocate for open borders, acquiescing and coddling illegals, just like other insufferable organizations. Folks, take your pick. You got Amy Torres, the cat lady, right? In downtown Jersey City, somehow triggered that, Twitter is becoming too toxic. Says the woman who's sipping on her third caramel macchiato of the day while tweeting and feeding her 5 cats. But again, these are the type of women acquiescing and coddling illegals every single day. But these are the people we're supposed to take seriously about immigration reform discussions? Really? Nydia Dorsey would make the road New Jersey? Amy Torres with the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice? All these other clown organizations? Cristina Pinzon, Esa Campesina with Stateside Affairs, right? Or the Latino Action Network, or Latina Civic, or Action Together New Jersey, or I don't know, the New Jersey Citizens Project. I mean, folks, the list goes on and on about people we can't take seriously. But this is who Uncle Dave wants to put up there, and some of them we're going to take seriously. I mean, I wouldn't let Nydia Dorsey run a hot dog stand, much less opine on policy. Speaking about not wanting to hot dog stand, let's go to another useless woman in the immigration reform conversation, and that's State Senator Teresa Ruiz. Okay, I know Uncle Dave likes to be all Boricua and be like, oh, State Senator Teresa Ruiz, because he's got to like prop up that Boricua in him. You know what I'm saying? It's so insufferable. I swear to God, sometimes. I'm not just saying because I'm Cuban, but you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, stop it. Okay. Another useless woman in New Jersey politics is Teresa Ruiz, a woman who championed the cause to give driver's licenses to illegals. Okay. That champions the cause for giving in-state tuition discounts for college to illegals. Okay. That loves to coddle illegals every chance she can. But this is a woman we're going to take seriously about immigration reform. A woman, along with State Senator Zwicker down in Central Jersey, that feels it's okay to make pornographic materials available in our school libraries and to not hold librarians accountable. Esta mujer, I'm going to take seriously? Esta pendeja. Bro, get out of here, please. I wouldn't trust Teresa Ruiz to organize my freaking recipe list in my kitchen. But this is a woman we're supposed to take seriously about immigration reform? Por favor, give me a break. Speaking about not taking seriously, from one state senator to someone who thinks she can be a senator, talk about not wanting to even think that she could run a lemonade stand. We got Patricia Campos Medina. Esta campesina wants you to believe that somehow, okay, this woman who wouldn't know her ass from her assemblywoman, okay, is going to lecture you and tell you that somehow she's qualified to be a United States Senator. Okay? I wouldn't trust her to be a dog catcher. Okay? And unfortunately, once again, we talk about useless women in this conversation, whether it's Nydia Dorsey, whether it's Teresa Ruiz. Now we got Patty Campos Medina. This woman who's polling in the single digits. Well, I get it, Dave, you like her. We all have our favorites. I like certain guests. I like certain candidates, and I'll interview them, and I'll be cool with them. I get it. I don't begrudge you that. But, bro, if you're going to have a serious conversation, have serious people. Have legitimate people. Have credible people. And when I think about being credible, being legitimate, being reputable, and even being commonsensical, none of those traits belong to Patricia Campos Medina. Okay? Again, someone who you're going to rely on for input about the immigration debate. There isn't one policy that this woman, not one policy that this woman believes in that will ever make New Jersey better. Just like Teresa Ruiz, again, an enabler of pornography, an enabler of the alphabet bomb in New Jersey, an enabler of illegals. That's what Teresa Ruiz is. Okay? Vamos a ser sinceros. Todos sabemos que esa mujer no sirve para nada. Esta mujer no sirve para nada. And the previous one, Nydia Dorsey, someone get her a brush, please. Okay? Eso tampoco no sirve para nada. Okay? But this is who Uncle Dave will bring on in a segment to have a serious conversation about immigration reform. Okay? Instead of bashing this president who has left the border open, who has done an atrocious job on border security. And by the way, folks, okay, on the very first day that Sleepy Joe took the oath of office, I'm going to read you what the oath of office says. Okay? Just like Joe Biden, just like every other president before him, this is what they say on Inauguration Day. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Okay? Folks, when you don't preserve sovereignty, when you are allowing illegals to run across the border in record numbers, more than any other recent administration, how exactly are you protecting and defending the Constitution? Okay, to Sleepy Joe. You think David Cruz is asking this question? You think David Cruz is going out there roasting Joe Biden? Of course not. He doesn't care. He'd rather pander. He'd rather have these jokers and clowns on his show to talk about immigration reform and what should we be doing? Dave, we need to be closing the border. We need to be doing something to protect our sovereignty. I know you don't get it. You're Puerto Rican, so you already were born with citizenship. I'm the son of immigrants. Okay, I know what it's like to have parents that came here legally, that did it correctly, that did it the right way, and made a life of themselves. And in the process, raised one of the best human beings walking the face of the earth. Yours truly. Okay? But you think, Dave, do you think it would ever dawn on you to ever hold the president or left-wing policies or these left-wing hacks accountable? No, what you do is you give them a platform. You give them a platform and embolden them by making them believe that they're actually credible on the subject. And that's where I have to take you to task, Dave. Okay? Whether it's this campesina, whether it's Teresa Ruiz, an enabler, again, of pornography, of pedophiles, let's be honest, okay, of the alphabet army, of illegals and everything else, okay, or Nadia Dorsey, another one with a useless organization like Make the Road New Jersey. These are the women you want to prop up and say, hey, I want to have a serious conversation about immigration. So why not have serious people? No, you don't, Dave. You're not having serious people. And speaking about useless women, let me talk about another useless woman, in the conversation. And why not? Let's talk about Chiquitin, Hector Soso-Guerra. The guy who, if he won student council elections, maybe that's his biggest accomplishment. Okay? But when you have a guy like Hector Soso-Guerra, Chiquitin, who again doesn't embrace one policy that makes New Jersey better or more affordable, right? Who's a staunch progressive, who's a member of the Progressive Democrats of Hudson County and the Democratic Socialists of New Jersey. This is a clown you want to have on the show? So basically what you're doing is you're having 4 women on the program talking about a subject that they're not serious about. Because, Dave, I hate to break it to you, and again, I get it. You know, tú estás medio dormido, you're not paying attention. But, Dave, what you need to be doing, again, if you want to call yourself a credible journalist, is calling out bad policies. Talking about the possible void that the absence of Bob Menendez is going to have in the Senate, folks, that's the least of our worries. The bigger worry is about calling out this failed administration in Washington and what they're doing about all these illegals that are coming across the border, that are coming into our cities, destroying the quality of life. You don't believe me? Look at New York City. Look at illegals, not migrants, Dave. Illegals. They're here illegally. Okay? They de comer tanta mermelada because that's what you're doing. You're comiendo mermelada. Okay? That's your issue, Dave. Okay? Call them what they are. They're illegals. They're not migrants. And what are they doing? They're assaulting police officers. They're running shelters into the ground. They're destroying the quality of life in our towns and our cities. Okay? They're coming over here, having anchor babies, overcrowding our schools, but not one of those serious topics or issues is one that you ever want to cover, Dave. You'd rather pander and have these women like esta aquí, Hector, and the other 3 useless women talk about immigration reform. These are the people that Uncle Dave wants to say, hey, I want to have a serious discussion, and these are the serious people that I'm bringing up to this program to talk about. Folks, it's clear. Uncle Dave picks his guests just like he picks his teams. Sorry, garbage. That's all it is. Just like his Mets, his Jets, and whatever other team he roots for, his ability to pick good guests and sound guests are just as trash as the teams he roots for. So if you want to have a serious discussion, Dave, about immigration reform and what should be done, upgrade a little bit. Have serious conversation. Have academics that actually understand what sovereignty is. Have journalists that have been out on the street, okay, that are talking to residents and hearing the feedback from the community about the harm that illegals are doing to our cities and towns. They won't do that. Dave's too busy living in Greenville, living in that dump of Jersey City to care. Okay? He's making his nice money on NJ Spotlight News. God bless you, bro. Que Dios te bendiga. Siga ganando dinero. That's all you're good for. Because when it comes to quality journalism, that's just something David Cruz isn't giving you. And that's our show for this week, folks. And before I let you go, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot say enough. I started during the Super Bowl, and I'll say it again. Stand Up to Jewish Hate. Great Instagram page. Great organization. And this past week, seeing a bunch of jihadists marching at City Hall in Hoboken, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Okay? Because these are the same people that will rip down signs and wanted posters of men, women, and children that are still missing. These are the jihadists locally that will somehow rationalize and sing, free, free Palestine from here to the sea, whatever that garbage song is. Folks, if you know anything about the origin of that song, it's anti-Semitic in nature. So if you want to go out and sing that song and prop it up, what you're doing is being blatantly anti-Semitic. Own that. Make yourselves accountable. But on this show, we're always going to stand up to Jewish hate. Because again, when we look at a country like Israel, the only sole democracy in that piss poor region of the world that actually is an ally of the United States, that isn't a theocracy, that isn't some misguided regime like take your pick in that region of the world. Folks, Israel and what they're doing have every right to defend themselves, and Israelis and Jewish people should not have to be subjected to the vitriol that they're getting in person or online. Here on this show, we're proud here at Jersey First TV and Real Talk to stand up to Jewish hate. And you know what? You should stand up too. That's our show for this week. Once again, folks, I want to thank Aaron Morrill, the publisher and editor of the Jersey City Times. Great conversations as always. And of course, folks, you can always check out all of our great content on social media. Make sure you like Real Talk with Fernando Uribe on Facebook. And of course, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And without a doubt, on YouTube, click the subscribe button. You'll be notified of all the great content brought to you by Jersey First TV every single week. And of course, whether you get your podcast on Spotify or SoundCloud, download it and take Jersey First TV with you anywhere at any time. And I cannot say it enough, ladies and gentlemen, how proud I am to be on the dream team of Garden State Media. That's right, folks. Always educating and advocating the people of the state of New Jersey. That's right, folks. It's always Jersey First TV. Brand new episodes of The Nader Narrative hosted by the incredible Elizabeth Nader. Premiere every Thursday on Jersey First TV, of course, on YouTube, Facebook Live, and StreamYard, as well as LinkedIn. And of course, brand new episodes of Bridging the Gap with AJ Melillo and Stephen Rombolo premiere also on Thursdays. And of course, brand new episodes of Real Talk with Fernando Uribe premiere every Monday night right here on Jersey First TV. Again, check local listings for time and availability. Can't say enough, folks, how proud I am to be working with them. And of course, being that credible news source for you here in the Garden State. Again, with so much garbage journalism out there in the liberal establishment media, you can always rely on Jersey First TV. Always remember, folks, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's Real Talk right here with Jersey First TV. I am New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist, Top 50 Latino, as voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine, along with the United States Latino Affairs Initiative. And ladies and gentlemen, I will continue to be the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State Media because my level of honesty, now more than ever, is truly necessary in this era of deception. It's me, folks, Fernando Uribe, saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your week. Again, we'll be closing out February next week. And again, I can't say enough. Traffic remains strong here on the program. We appreciate you tuning in. Sharing is caring. Always click that share button and show your support for Real Talk via Jersey First TV. Folks, please party responsibly. And always remember, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. We'll see you next week here. And thanks for stopping by.